For the 6th season in a row, Walters is the official bar of the Nats Chat podcast, located across the street from the ballpark, just off South Capitol Street.
Now the set, and the 1-1 on the way. Swinging a line drive, well hit to right. Wood going back toward the warning track. He reaches up, he makes the catch, a step from the wall. Foster Griffin, after throwing 52 pitches in the first 2 innings, is able to go 7 strong innings tonight. He has the Nationals in front 3-1 after 7 with a spectacular performance. The 2-2 from Helsley, swinging a ground ball right side, past the diving Alonso, base hit right field. Cruz trying to score. The throw from Taveras is offline, and the Nationals are in front 4-3. Dalen Lyle delivers here at the top of the 10th. An RBI single leading off the frame, scoring the free runner. And the Nationals have the lead back here in extra innings. Now the set and the pitch. Fastball, ground ball to short, runner breaks for the plate. Abrams throws home, Millis the tag, he's blocked the plate for the out. Nice play by Abrams, a throw on the run, moving to his right. He guns down the runner at home for the second out of the inning. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Swinging a ground ball right side. This is at Nunez. He has it. He double clutches. He throws on to first in time, and the Nationals win it. Justin Lawrence nails down the save in his Nationals debut. He strands the bases loaded in the bottom of the 10th for a 4-3 Nationals win as they snap a 4-game losing streak. Dalen Lyles hit in the top of the 10th, the winning margin, as Lawrence walks the tightrope and gets to the other side to nail the save in his Nats debut.
And welcome to Nats Chat. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. Washington Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman of NatsJournal.com is off for this installment of the podcast, but good to be with you. And the Nats 4-game losing streak is over. Wasn't easy. They blew yet another late inning lead, but the Nats won a 4-3 10-inning win at the Baltimore Orioles on Saturday night in Game 2 of a 3-game series. This was a game in which the Nats blew a 3-1 8th-inning lead, but the Nats won. They, in MLB's 2026 regular season, are back at 500, 42-42, run differential of +3. The O's now are 39-45 with a run differential of -24. And how about the difference between the two teams in one-run games? Nats 12-12, O's just 6-13. This installment of Nats Chat brought to us by the nonprofit Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund. Tired of paying $4 for a gallon of gas? CCAN Action Fund is raffling 3 amazing electric cars, including a Rivian SUV, as part of an annual fundraiser to fight for clean air in the DMV. Get 3 chances to win with just 1 ticket at evraffle.org. That's evraffle.org. Coming up later in the show, a conversation that the creator, owner, and executive producer of the Nats Chat podcast, Tim Shovers, had with Doug Foster, who is a descendant of Rube Foster, the man who is part of the group of people who created the Negro Leagues. Andrew Rube Foster. He lived from September 1879 to December 1930. Lived a fascinating life. Rube Foster is known as the father of black baseball, so we look forward to that conversation. So the Nats, during their run from 2012 through 2019 of 8 consecutive winning regular seasons, 5 playoff appearances, 4 National League East titles, and a World Series title, had so many great seasons from starting pitchers, right? The Nats, since that run, have not had many great seasons from starting pitchers. The 3 best regular seasons by Nats starting pitchers this decade, so 2020 through 2025, are as follows. I'm going by wins above replacement per Baseball Reference. Number 1, Max Scherzer in 2021, despite being traded by the Nats. He, over 19 games, all starts for the Nats, accumulated 3.3 B-WAR. Number 2, Mackenzie Gore in 2025, 3.1 B-WAR. Number 3, Josiah Gray in 2023, 3.0 B-WAR. But could it be that Foster Griffin is having the best season by a Nats starting pitcher since the team won the 2019 World Series? Could it be that Foster Griffin is having the best season by a Nats starting pitcher this decade? Griffin, in this 4-3 10-inning win at the Orioles on Saturday night, was outstanding. Put aside what happened with the bullpen, put aside what happened with the offense. The number 1 item from this game, from a Nats perspective, was Foster Griffin. He allowed 1 run, which was unearned, in 7 innings with 9 strikeouts. Superb. He gave up just 3 hits, all of which were singles. Here's your 2 walks. He threw a lot of strikes, 112 pitches, 75 strikes, 37 balls. And yes, I did say 112 pitches. Given how bad the Nats bullpen has been lately, Nats manager Blake Butera clearly rode Griffin, clearly went with Griffin, and Griffin was up to the task. Griffin rose to the occasion. In the bottom of the second, allowed an unearned run on 2 singles and an error, which was a went-out throwing error by second baseman Nasim Nunez, who airmailed a throw to first base in attempting to complete a double play off making the put out at second base. Now, helping to cause the error was a nice slide by Blaze Alexander, but that unearned run, the lone blemish for Foster Griffin in this game. How about what Foster Griffin is doing here on his 1-year reported $5.5 million contract? Griffin now in this regular season, 17 games, all starts, ERA of 2.93, whip of 1.04, strikeouts per 9 innings of 8.97. He absolutely is a candidate for the 2026 National League All-Star team. He, as of games through Friday, had a wins above replacement per Baseball Reference of 2.2. He is tracking toward having the best season by a Nats starting pitcher this decade. We didn't know what to think about Foster Griffin on opening day, right? And one of the conversations that Mark and I had in the lead up to the regular season was, wow, Foster Griffin, he's basically being handed a spot in the rotation. Going to be interesting to see what he does with that, just because there's so much that we don't know about what he is as a major league pitcher off him having spent the previous 3 seasons in Japan. Well, Foster Griffin is the Nats ace. I mean, there's no question about that. He is the Nats number 1 pitcher so far this season. December 22nd, the Nats announced having signed Griffin to a 1-year contract as a free agent. Again, $5.5 million per reports. What a bargain in this, his age 30 season, and what a performance to help the Nats snap their 4-game losing streak. So Foster Griffin was great, but the Nats relief pitching in this 4-3 10-inning win at the Orioles on Saturday night was not great. The Nats again blew a late inning lead. They blew a 3-1 8th inning lead. You know, this is becoming as routine as like the 7th inning stretch. You know, in fact, you have the 7th inning stretch and then you get your blown lead by the Nats bullpen. Like, that's how things go right now with Nats games. 4 Nats relievers combined to allow 2 runs in 3 innings. PJ Poulin officially allowed 1 run in 2/3 of an inning. He would have ended up being a 2-run 8th for the O's, faced 3 batters and got 2 outs. Orlando Revolta officially allowed 1 run in 1/3 of an inning. He came into the game in the bottom of the 8th with a runner on 3rd, 2 outs, and the Nats up 3-1. He, to the first batter he faced, gave up a 2-out RBI double by Pete Alonso to deep left field on a 1-2 pitch to cut the Nats lead to 3-2. And Revolta, on his very next pitch, gave up a pinch 2-out first pitch RBI single by Samuel Basayo into right center field to tie the game at 3. Orlando Revolta had been so good for the Nats. You know, as of just a few weeks ago, if I had said to you, who is the Nats reliever who you most trust? Maybe you would have said Brad Lord, but there's a decent chance you would have said Orlando Revolta. But Revolta is not having a good month of June. Revolta now has allowed at least 1 earned run in 5 of his last 8 appearances. However, Clayton Beeter, he tossed a perfect bottom of the 9th with 2 strikeouts. Beeter looked so good. Was really nice to see Beeter pitch like that. And Justin Lawrence, in his Nats debut, tossed a scoreless bottom of the 10th, despite giving up a 2-out single and despite issuing a 2-out walk. But he got the save, and he became, you ready for this, the 10th different player to record at least 1 save for the Nats this regular season. That is something. That is one of the great stats for the 2026 Nats, that here we are still weeks away from the All-Star break, and 10 different Nats each has at least one save so far in this regular season. Justin Lawrence, the Nats this past Wednesday afternoon announced having claimed him off outright waivers from the Minnesota Twins. The bottom of the 10th did become rather interesting, but the second out in the bottom of the 10th came via a nice play by shortstop C.J. Abrams, who made a backhanded catch of a grounder by Taylor Ward and fired home, where Jeremiah Jackson was tagged out by catcher Drew Millis. And Lawrence came up big for the final out of the game. The third out in the bottom of the 10th came via Lawrence getting Samuel Basallo to ground out to second baseman Nasim Nunez with the bases loaded to end the game. A huge out obtained by Justin Lawrence. Samuel Basallo is one of the Orioles' best players, came up to bat with the bases loaded, but Lawrence retired. Basallo got the out and ended the game. And he, per the Elias Sports Bureau, became the first Nats pitcher to record a save in his regular season debut with the team since Sean Doolittle on July 18th, 2017. The Nats bullpen was not good, make no mistake, but the bullpen found a way to close out what ended up being a Nats win. Here was Blake Butera during his post-game session with reporters late night on Saturday night, and then we'll hear multiple follow-up exchanges.
I'm happy right now. I'm happy. Obviously, just with the way these last few days have gone, and then to give up the lead there again, obviously just like, no, here we go again. And, couldn't have been happier with the response, in the 10th there, and Dalen doing what he does to get a base hit there to take the lead. Going back to the 9th after they tied it, Clayton Beeter going out there and looked the best he's looked in a while now. Look, we challenged those guys and asked them to come out and attack hitters. And look, Rebalta believed the world in him, and he went out there and attacked and got beat. He wasn't walking guys, and that's a positive. Clayton Beeter goes out there in the 9th, and I thought he had the best stuff he's had in a while and pitched a really good inning. And then Justin Lawrence, welcome to the team, gets right in there in the 10th in a big spot and holds it down for us.
I know you said that the morale has stayed high throughout all of this, but how much of a confidence boost can a comeback win be like that for this team right now? Yeah,
I think more than anything it's a sigh of relief. Just obviously after how these last few days have gone, it's hard. Like, it's tough when you have leads and you lose them, and you feel like you should have won some games, especially against a team like the Phillies. Just the last few days, and to bounce back and then come back again tonight after they tied it and end up with the W on the road, it's huge.
You get tired. Well, not tired, but do you get used to seeing Foster out there on the mound, or is it still like, are you able to appreciate the starts that he's putting up?
I appreciate every time he's on the mound. We all have a ton of confidence in Foster. He pitches his tail off for us and leaves it all out there every single time.
What when it's the decision to put him back out there? I know you said you're going to lean on him post game, but what does that conversation look like in that moment?
Yeah, he's up there near the 100 pitch mark, and obviously want to take care of Foster. But it's conversation with him of, hey, how you feeling? He wanted to give us a little bit more, so he doesn't need to say anything more than that to me. We love when he's out there.
Yeah, how could you not? And Foster Griffin, keep in mind, did what he did off his terrific outing this past Monday night. Griffin in the Nats 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies at Nationals Park this past Monday night, June 22nd. 1 run in 7 1/3 innings with 9 strikeouts versus no walks. What a week for Foster Griffin. What a season for Foster Griffin.
This installment of Nats Chat is brought to us by our friends at the Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund, one of the best nonprofits fighting for a greener environment in the DMV. They're back with their 8th annual electric vehicle raffle for the planet, with all proceeds going to help their fight for cleaner air and a healthier Chesapeake Bay. And with gas prices soaring, it's never been a better time to win an electric car. Here are 3 reasons you should visit the website evraffle.org and grab a raffle ticket today. Again, evraffle.org. Number 1, the prize options are amazing. First prize winner will choose their own luxury Rivian, Lucid, or Porsche EV worth up to $115,000. Second place will choose between the Rivian R2, Volkswagen ID Buzz, or a Hyundai Ioniq 5. And the third prize winner gets the amazing Chevy Bolt. Reason number 2, each ticket gets you 3 chances to win an EV, which means your odds are incredible. Tickets are just $200 and a limited number will be sold. They even cover taxes and fees on the prizes. And reason number 3, CCAN Action Fund funds for affordable clean energy nationwide. You can win a brand new EV and support a cleaner world. 3 lucky people are going to win, and you could be one of them. Get your ticket today at www.evraffle.org. That's evraffle.org, or check out the link in today's show notes.
Right-hander to the belt. Young delivers, swinging a ground ball, base hit past the third baseman Alexander and down the line into foul ground. Rounding third, Lyle going to try and score. Throw to the plate, not in time. Heading for second, Bebos, no play there. So Taylor Ward chased it along the line, shallow left field, trying to throw out Lyle, could not. And so Bebos heads up, takes second after his RBI single and 15th run batted into the year. The Nationals are on the board here in the second. It's Washington 1 and Baltimore nothing.
Well, the Nats offense in this 4-3 10-inning win at the Orioles on Saturday night. So the Nats scored 4 runs, but really should have scored more. The Nats had 13 hits, which were a home run, 3 doubles, and 9 singles, and the Nats drew 3 walks, but the Nats went just 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position and struck out 14 times. Now, nothing with the Nats offense to me was more interesting than what happened with James Wood, who, as we know, has been struggling. So he, for this game, was the Nats starting right fielder and number 1 batter. He went 0 for 4 with a walk and 3 strikeouts, and he got taken out of the game after 7.5 innings as Blake Butera inserted Jacob Young into the game to play center field and move starting center fielder Dylan Cruz to right field. And this was shocking. I mean, you had to wonder, was James Wood injured? Was he dealing with some sort of ailment? As best as we can tell, he was not. Butera took Wood out of the game. Butera took the Nats' best hitter, who, yes, is struggling, but still, he's the Nats' best hitter, took him out of the game. And what was a close game? And boy, could this have cost the Nats. Young came up in a big spot and did not come through. Jacob Young in the top of the 10th with runners at the corners, 2 outs, and the Nats up 4-3, had a fly out to center fielder Colton Cowser for the 3rd out. Now, who knows what Wood would have done in that spot? And as mentioned, Wood is struggling right now, does not look good at the plate. But I mean, I ask you, who would you rather have batting, Wood or Young? The answer is Wood 100 times out of 100. So interesting that Blake Butera did this. Obviously, wanting Jacob Young's defense in the game, but at the expense of the bat of James Wood. And we have seen Blake Butera in latter inning decisions prioritize offense over defense. In this case, he prioritized defense over offense. But again, with Wood struggling, you wonder if Butera maybe looked at Wood in a different light. I still, though, come back to if it's James Wood or Jacob Young in a close game, I don't care how much Wood is struggling. You still want Wood in the game. You still want Wood batting. That was remarkable that Butera did that. You know, he could have taken like Dylan Cruz out of the game, but instead Butera took James Wood out of the game. So really interesting decision by Blake Butera, but there was so much more to the Nats offense in this game. Luis Garcia Jr. is on fire. He is the Nats starting first baseman and number 2 batter, went 4 for 5 with a solo homer, a double, and 2 singles. A 4-hit game for Luis Garcia. He and the Nats 1-run 5th, had a leadoff homer to right field for a 2-1 Nats lead. Yeah, he homered again, and this homer was some shot. The homer per StatCast went a projected 418 feet and had an exit velocity of 114 miles per hour. And Garcia in the top of the 6th had a 2-out double to right field. Luis Garcia Jr. for this month of June now has 9 home runs and a slugging percentage of .716. Not since Kyle Schwarber in June 2021 have we seen a Nats player be this prolific at hitting for power in a month of June. Garcia, for the regular season now, has 14 home runs and an OPS of .816, including a slugging percentage of .514. Dalen Lyle, he is the Nats starting left fielder and number 6 batter, went 2 for 5 with a double and an RBI single. Lyle in the Nats 1-run second had a went-out opposite field ground rule double off the warning track back in left center field. Lyle in the Nats 1-run 10th had a leadoff RBI single through the right side of the infield for a 4-3 Nats lead. And Lyle in the bottom of the 6th made a diving forward backhanded catch for a leadoff lineout by Pete Alonso as Lyle continues to demonstrate defensive improvement. Another standout defensive play by Dalen Lyle.
The 1-1, swinging a line drive hook to left. Racing on in is Lyle into a dive, and he caught it. Another backhanded diving catch toward the infield by Lyle.
He, for this regular season, now has an OPS of 709. Jorbit Bibas, he was an starting third baseman and number 7 batter, 3 for 5 with an RBI single and 2 other singles. Bibas in the Nats 1-run second had a 1-out opposite field RBI single into left field on a 1-2 pitch for a 1-0 Nats lead. And Drew Millis, he is the Nats starting catcher and number 9 batter, went 2 for 5 with an RBI single and another single. Did get charged with a pass ball, but Millis in the Nats 1-run 6 had a 1-out opposite field RBI single through the left side of the infield on a 1-2 pitch for a 3-1 Nats lead. Although Millis did get thrown out at home on Luis Garcia Jr.'s 2-out double to right field, as Millis, in trying to score from first to home, got tagged out by a good bit. An aggressive send by Nats third base coach Victor Esteves, and the O's did execute the relay throw and tag really well. But the offense overall was good, just some missed opportunities. The Nats, like I said, could have scored a lot more than 4 runs given how many guys were on base over the course of this game. Also, the Orioles starting pitcher for this game was the guy who lately has been their best starting pitcher, Brandon Young. 2 runs in 5 innings with 8 strikeouts gave the Nats plenty of problems. Young did give up 7 hits, which were a home run, 2 doubles, and 4 singles, issued 2 walks, but he threw a lot of strikes, 93 pitches, 62 strikes, 31 balls. Good job by the Nats of getting Young out of the game after 5 innings. He, over those 5 innings, threw, as mentioned, 93 pitches, and the offense ended up doing enough to come away with the win, what clearly was a needed win for this Nats team.
Here's the 1-2 from Garcia. Swinging a ground ball toward the hole. Past the third baseman Alexander. Base hit. Bibas coming home. The throw to the plate by Ward is not in time. Deflects away from the catcher Trump, but Millis holds it first. Drew Millis delivers. The Nationals lead it 3-1. He snuck that ground ball past Blaze Alexander for the RBI single the other way.
Game 3 of this series, Sunday afternoon at 1:35. The Nats have listed Zach Littell as their probable starting pitcher for the game. The O's have listed Kyle Bradish as their probable starting pitcher for the game. This installment of Nats Chat brought to us by the nonprofit Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund. Tired of paying $4 for a gallon of gas? CCAN Action Fund is raffling 3 amazing electric cars, including a Rivian SUV, as part of an annual fundraiser to fight for clean air in the DMV. Get 3 chances to win with just 1 ticket at evraffle.org. That's evraffle.org. You can find us on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email us natschatpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website you could check out, natschatpodcast.com, at which you can purchase a Nats Chat Podcast t-shirt. Nats Chat is on the radio Sunday morning 9 to 10 on ESPN Richmond, which is 106.1 FM in the Richmond, Virginia area, and Sunday morning 9 to 10 on ESPN Radio 94.1 in the Virginia Beach area. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. I'm Al Galdi. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat podcast, and we leave you now with Tim Shover's conversation with Doug Foster, descendant of Rube Foster, who is known as the father of black baseball.
Here we are at Negro Leagues Night at Nationals Park on a Tuesday night as the Nats host the Royals. Pleased to be joined by someone part of Negro Leagues royalty, Negro Leagues legacy. Hosted a panel before the game, and it was a special panel, and it's become an annual tradition here at Navy Yard. If you could identify yourselves to our listeners and your connection to the Negro Leagues.
Okay, my name is William Douglas Foster Jr. I am the great nephew of the great Andrew Rube Foster, founder of the Negro League, also known as the father of black baseball, and also the grandson of William Hendrick Foster, Hall of Fame pitcher of the Negro League.
How has your life changed this decade once the Negro Leagues got more respect, and the numbers were elevated to major league status, and evenings such as this. So compare your life as being part of the family tree that you are in 2026 compared to maybe 2019 or 2016.
Yeah, I think the difference has been, just like night and day. It's almost now, like, especially once 2020 came and we celebrated 100 years of the Negro League, there's now been so much more interest in the Negro League, and not so much as just the more popular names that you know about, like the Jackie Robinsons and the Sean Gibson, Josh Gibsons and the Cool Papa Bells, but now the other stories, like, which I believe is the most probably important untold story, Andrew Rube Foster, because if it wasn't for him, obviously this wouldn't be, maybe there wouldn't have been a platform for the Josh Gibsons, but it's just been like night and day. So there's been so much more attention, and when there's more attention in the Negro League, then there's more attention with how did the Negro League come about, and when you talk about how the Negro League came about, then you're talking more about my uncle, and then that just overwhelms me and gives me a more sense of a pride, like how can I honor their legacy, and that's what motivates me to kind of do some of the things I'm doing in their honor.
For our listeners, give them one factoid you want them to remember about Andrew Rube Foster.
So the reason why he created the Negro League was because he wanted to have a Negro League team to play against in Major League Baseball. He didn't necessarily want Negro League players to be able to play in Major League Baseball. He wanted a Negro League team to play in Major League Baseball. And when he couldn't get that to happen, he said the best way to make that happen was to create the Negro League. When people think of Andrew Rube Foster, they think of him as the manager and as a coach and an executive. But what they don't forget, they don't remember, is he was probably one of the best pitchers in the early 20th century. He had a record 51 win straight, and he got his name by teaching Rube Waddell the screwball. So people think of him as a manager, but he really was one of the best pitchers in the Negro Leagues in the early 20th century.
Give us one factoid to remember about Bill Foster.
Well, this is what he told me. He said he has a winning record against Satchel Paige. Now, it might not be enough records to support it, but that's my grandfather. I'm rolling with it.
Our listeners will remember that one.
Yeah.
One last one for you. Do you have an opinion on Oscar Charleston versus Willie Mays?
And that's a tough one. I always say this, like it's hard to compare only because there is so much we don't know about Oscar Charleston. There's a lot that we know, but because it was so hard to keep records up and then it's just we don't know how great some of these Negro League players were. Willie Mays, phenomenal player. But for me, and I know this might be me punting the ball, it's hard to compare because we just don't know how great Oscar Charleston was.
Louis awaits, and the pitch, swing and a long drive, deep to right field. Forget about it. Going, and gone. Goodbye. A long home run on a Utah street over the big wall in right field. Luis Garcia Jr. 114 miles an hour leaving the yard.